Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. And we've got a fight here that started on week 2 of The Bachelor that is now spilling onto social media. We have former contestants weighing in, Hannah Brown taking Elizabeth's side. Elizabeth decides to make a TikTok educating Shanae on how to handle someone who tells you they've got some neurodiversity going on. ADHD. Elizabeth has ADHD, stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, and she feels like, and a lot of the community feels like, Shanae botched how she spoke to Elizabeth about it. Elizabeth opened up about her issues, and Shanae essentially accused her of using her disorder to become two-faced. We'll get into what was actually said. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like this video. We'll play the TikTok, and we'll play Hannah Brown's reaction to Elizabeth sticking up for herself. So Elizabeth's Bachelor's Elizabeth fires back after her ADHD becomes storyline in Shanae feud. So I'll share the TikTok for you in a second, but here's what happened. It's really hard for me to have multiple auditory inputs because I can't process the information, Elizabeth explained. I have ADHD. I've had it really bad since I was a kid. I was probably just really trying to concentrate on what NC was trying to say to me, and maybe you had said something in the middle of her saying something, and I can't hear it. So essentially, she's saying, too many people talking at the same time. I lose my focus. I have to be focused on one. And then Shanae's like, no, you're just being two-faced. It was a whole mess. I think it's important to realize the way I think, the way you think, the way our brains work isn't always the right way, and it's not always the same as everyone else. So you might be able to multitask, having all the tabs open in the world, but somebody might need to be laser focused on a conversation. Now imagine being on a group date and everyone's talking and yapping and everyone's being disgruntled and doing all the different things. And you're just like, hold on a second. If someone tries to approach you and you're just like hyper-focused or trying to keep your attention, someone else might see that as being rude, when in fact, that's not what you're doing at all. But it's important for Shanae to realize that just because she has a way of processing doesn't mean someone else's computer might be built differently than hers. Shanae didn't buy it and decided to tell the rest of the women in the mansion about Elizabeth's ADHD without her permission. Fake, the recruiter said at one point. ADHD my ass. Bachelor Nation viewers were not impressed by Shanae's actions, and neither were the other women in the house. It's her business to bring up or not bring up. What does that have to do with you? Asked Kate. Maybe just apologize, suggests Eliza. You did share some information with the group that wasn't yours to share, Elizabeth told Shanae, and that felt really violating to me. So I would really appreciate an apology for that. And then, of course, Shanae immediately says, I'm sorry, but, and it goes into a whole thing. So clearly not aware. Let's go to first play the TikTok here by Elizabeth on how to handle somebody, or this is on Instagram Reel. Same thing. It's okay to not be okay. And this is how to handle someone telling you about their neurodiversity. Someone shared their mental illness with you. Now what? Acknowledge what they shared. Thank them for their vulnerability. Very simple stuff. Number 3, understand that you do not understand. Never weaponize it. Be a good person. There you go, folks. Real breaking news right there. Understand that you don't understand. Hey, and I have this when my fiance talks about her ADHD, and we did this on the East Coast after live stream. We talked for hours about this on the episode 2 live stream. But it's like, look, I don't always understand what's going on in her brain or how the tabs are working or how she's processing. But you have to have compassion and grace and understand they're doing the best with their circuitry. They're doing the best with the information they have, and they're going to try to process that. And we're just starting to learn about how ADHD has been misdiagnosed and how it presents itself differently in women versus in men, especially boys, girls growing up. And it's a good conversation to be had. So it's no surprise that some people are getting in on the conversation here. Let's watch the Instagram stories, and we'll see Hannah Brown and her boyfriend's reaction to Shanae and Shanae's flippant response.
Good for you, honey.
You already brought it to the attention. I didn't tell anyone you have ADHD. I have ADHD. You absolutely did. Everyone, little kids have ADHD.
Oh my God.
Oh, by the way, I love the background. You go, girl.
I think this is really inappropriate, Shanae.
Good for you, honey.
Good for you, honey. You go, girl. Well, everyone's loving the fact that Elizabeth's expressing herself and setting boundaries. You know what I mean? Saying, hey, I don't think it's okay if you're going to, I don't know, tell me I need to get a haircut. Or tell me, it's like, no, that's not for you to tell me. Just bringing it back to me.
The kiss was very good.
It was important.
So they're
for me to
kissing.
have
All right, we got that.
Should be done.
Here's
in
Hannah
Paris.
Brown.
ADHD my ass, 100%.
Hannah Brown's sharing this.
ADHD my ass 100%. What does that mean, Shanae? Shanae, no.
I know,
It's our first time watching The Bachelor together, but it really brought up a good conversation when Elizabeth talked about having ADHD, because I also, Shanae, have ADHD. And when she talked about like how whoever she was in a conversation with somebody, Elizabeth was in a conversation with somebody, but Shanae didn't feel like she was being like listened to or something. Acknowledge. We've had this conversation because if I'm in a room of people and I'm talking to somebody, if he comes in, like, I don't.
So essentially she's saying she relates, and obviously there's and it's, hey, for Elizabeth to have the royalty, Hannah Brown is royalty. She's the most followed Bachelor contestant of all time on Instagram, I believe. Am I right? I could be wrong. She's up there. Best-selling book. She says if Hannah Brown's coming to your side, you got something going for you. So Elizabeth is obviously very grateful and starts a goal to raise some money. For some issues, to use this conversation to be good. 6 daily affirmations for your mental health. I deserve support and belonging. I deserve love and connection. I am allowed to exist as I am. I am valid and worthwhile. I can do difficult things. I deserve to be seen. Isn't that nice?
Hey guys, how's it going? I am finally getting off of my phone today and out for a run. It's been a wild, and I have been just shook by all the support. It was fucking crazy watching all that back and having people stand for me. And
how funny is that censor? It never bleeps the actual swear words. Sorry about that.
Show their support and share their personal experiences and their feelings has been incredibly moving for me. I spent a couple hours last night and today crying, but like the best tears. So thank you. I wanted to take this opportunity to try and support one of my favorite nonprofit organizations, which is NAMI. You can check the link to donate in my bio, even if you can just do $1 or whatever, or literally just check it out and look at the literature and what they can provide. There's a lot of specific ones to mostly. Thank you.
So there she is, offering thanks for all the support. She's getting donations. Thanks everyone who shared their ADHD story and are sparked with me. I love the support from this amazing neurodiverse community. I'll say this, after the, whenever we talk about ADHD on the live stream, when my fiance comes in, Tasha, and shares her journey with ADHD, so many people have similar coping mechanisms to issues that they have, talking about, so many different aspects to it, that being a part of a community that discusses ADHD and how it presents themselves, and how they adapt and mirror and do all these different things. That's really, really special to have, because I'm sure most people with ADHD, I can only imagine, growing up, didn't know that they had something that was different. So they were sort of forced to be in classrooms that didn't, respect or quite understand what was going on in their brain, and people that didn't know how to teach to people with ADHD. So you think you're all alone your whole life, and then you learn how to cope and mechanisms to survive and overcome, to thrive. And that's a very valuable thing. And it's never too late to grow that way. So here are just some messages she got. Here's one about ADHD and anxiety. Early onset of anxiety symptoms may be associated with poor response to stimulant medication, more likely to have substance abuse disorders and other mental health problems. 50% is estimated, up to 50% of ADHDers have a co-occurring anxiety disorder. And then there's obviously more anxiety symptoms attached. Often diagnose ADHD later in life due to anxiety masking ADHD symptoms. So obviously, no one wants to live a life riddled with anxiety, and finding out how to cope with it is a good thing. People have commented left and right. I was diagnosed with ADHD as a child and have continued medication and therapy into adulthood. Usually I'm very open about my ADHD, but this episode really messed with my head. Yeah, and it's like, look, I'm glad the Bachelor producers aired this conversation because it was very well responded to by the cast members. They immediately pretty much all knew that Shanae was in the wrong and it was denounced. And we got to watch that. We got to watch that be denounced and have this conversation. So I think it's good that these exist. It is at the expense of Elizabeth, but I think she's seeing the reward of people rallying behind her. Arizona Trash Bag said, things like ADHD, PTSD, and OCD get thrown around so often like they're just quirky personality traits. It's completely minimizing the fact that these are actually serious issues for those who have been diagnosed with them. It's infuriating, and Shanae's inability to recognize the validity and gravity of ADHD is a perfect example of why. You are so not alone, and your feelings are completely valid. I'm sorry you're going through them. She's in the wrong here, not you. I hope you guys understand and can hear the support that you have in this community for those that are suffering or overcoming or working with their ADHD. It's good to have these conversations about neurodiversity and understanding our brains are all different, they're wired different, and we all react to stimuli differently. You might think that your daughter or mother or sister or father or best friend is a jerk, doesn't value your time, or shows their love language in different ways. And what we have to remember is people are just quite simply trying the best with the information they have and trying the best with the vehicle that they are in. Okay? So how your brain operates, how you see the map of life and drive through that, your hardwiring is not who you are in your soul. Okay? They are two different things. So love the soul and have compassion and grace for people that might think or act differently than you do. Leave a comment. Would love to know what you guys think. If anyone wants to call the voicemail line, we'll try to do a 5 o'clock phone call today, 401-213-9828. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll talk to you all in a little bit. Bye, guys.